Jerry the Snake Man, and welcome to episode 95 of Snake Clips. Today we're going to be trying to feed my large monocled cobra. We're going to try to get him to break his winter fast. Also, we're going to be feeding a Gaboon viper, a baby Gaboon, which we have to force feed. We're going to be feeding a black and white spitting cobra and a prairie rattlesnake. So stay tuned. Okay, the large monocled cobra has been on a fast for the winter time and been moving around a lot. And yesterday I offered him a mouse instead of a rat, and he actually ate it. So I'm going to offer him two more, see if he breaks his winter fast. Now he normally wakes up in a very grumpy mood, so he's sleeping right now. Get the mouse to wake him up. Oh, there he is. He's awake. And is he going to take this guy? Let me see here. Kind of startled him this morning. Oh, and he grabbed that. That's pretty cool. See if he'll eat that. He hasn't eaten in about 2 months. As you can see, he's definitely eating. The Sufan cobra, which is about the same size as him. You saw the video, or hopefully you saw the video the other day. A trio of cobras, and he takes a large rat, no problem. This guy normally would eat rats. Like I said, he went on his winter fast. So he's just starting. He was moving around a lot. I was watching him. He was being very, very active. Right now he's trying to butt munch that mouse, which means eating it backwards. But he was moving around a lot, searching everything. So I thought maybe he was wanting to eat, thought he was looking for food, and I was right. Like I said, he grabbed the one mouse the other day. Now he took another mouse. I don't think he goes on his winter fast because he's cold. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but he has an oil-filled heater, electric heater, right next to his enclosure, which I use to heat. There are two of them I use to heat the room. The other one I keep actually underneath one part of my Burmese python's enclosure. And the Burmese python, he loves laying over top of that. He also goes on a winter fast where he decides that he doesn't want to eat for a couple months. This guy's having a little trouble getting that mouse down because he is butt munching it. He's eating it backwards. The reason why snakes eat their prey head first is because when they do so, the feathers, if it's a bird, or the arms and legs, if it's a mammal like a rat or a mouse or some type of other small rodent, they'll actually fold up against the body so that the snake can swallow it without any problems. When they eat them backwards, sometimes the legs or arms will come outward and will prohibit the snake from being able to swallow it properly. In this case here, the snake is large enough that he can power it down anyway, and he can probably actually break the legs backwards, and he'll still be able to swallow it. But sometimes when they grab it by the butt and they try to swallow it that way and it doesn't work, they'll actually take the time to work themselves around the rodent that they're eating and will eventually get to the head and then swallow it. Looks like he swallowed that and that he's ready for another one. I have another one here waiting for him. We're going to see if he'll take another one. He should. He should be very hungry. There he goes. And that'll be the last one we're going to get. So we finally got this guy to break his winter fast, which is excellent. Something I'm not a big fan of, but again, it does save on rodents. Again, you can see here he has bit it in the side, so now he's got to work it his way, which is amazing that they know how to do that. Now he's got it by the head. He'll be able to munch that one down pretty quickly. He will probably, I could probably stand here, and I'm not going to do it, but I could probably stand here and feed him 10 mice in a row, and right now he'd probably take every single one. I prefer him to eat larger meals, much cheaper that way than wasting all my mice, but if he so chooses to eat mice over a small rat right now, then that's what he's going to get. I gave him fresh water and cleaned his cage the other day, so that's why I'm not doing that today. As you can see, it didn't take him long to get those down. So I'm glad this guy's broke his fast. And today we're also going to be feeding my Gaboon viper, which has to be force fed. We also feed my baby black and white spitting cobra today, as well as a prairie rattlesnake. So we're going to have 4 feedings today. And this guy here, I'm really happy. He's one of my better show cobras at the shows. He loves it when he's on display there. He'll flare out once or twice, then he simply flares up, turns his back, just ignores everybody. Very defensive snake once he's touched. Sometimes he'll get a little defensive, a little hissy, especially like right now. Probably he may end up being a little hissy, being he just ate. You see he's pushing the mice down into his stomach now. Then I got to lock his enclosure back up, and when I go to lock his enclosure back up, he might be a little hissy toward me. And for a little while, every time I walk past the cage, he might give me a little attitude problem. Now we're going to put the lock back on this. The thing I do like about these new critter keepers actually is they have a smaller door on the top, which a lock can go through, and I can use that like I did to offer him food without having to actually open the entire enclosure up. Oh, there he's flared out a little bit for us because I put the lock on, but he's not getting too bad. Okay, and the next one we got here is my black and white spitting cobra. And I always call this one my baby. And I actually think of this one as probably one of the more dangerous ones I have. The reason I say that is because of its mild attitude. It's never tried to spit at me. It's pretty laid back, so sometimes it makes you put your guard off, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to hook this buddy here, and right now it's staying right on the hook, so I'm just going to transfer it right over without actually grabbing it. As long as the snake stays on the hook, I have no reason to have to grab that snake. And that's not really normal for a cobra to want to stay on a hook like that. This is one of the tanks that I have actually put some nice little decorations in. I'm checking it out. It doesn't look like he went to the bathroom anywhere. Okay, so basically all I got to do for him, and I say him or her a lot, and most of the time I really don't know. I don't sex my snakes. I don't feel a need to, unless I'm going to breed them, or some of the larger snakes like a Burmese python, I might want to know the sex, because it does determine sometimes the actual size that the snake is going to get. So if I want to keep a smaller snake or a larger snake, depending on what it is, then I might want to know the sex. But in this case, it really doesn't matter. So I might one day call this a he, I might call it a she the next day. Hopefully the snakes don't mind. Alright, now I'm gonna get him his fresh water. Let me grab him here out of the enclosure, temporary holding enclosure. Sometimes this guy will actually just crawl right up and out, which I think he's going to do just today, which is beautiful. He comes up and out all by himself. Let's put him in here. Okay. We grab his mouse. And normally this guy, he is not picky. He'll usually grab that mouse from us right away without any trouble whatsoever. Once he realizes there's food. There he goes. Like to hear that snap on these lids. That way I know for sure that that lid is completely closed and locked and he ain't getting back out of it. We'll let him go ahead and hopefully he'll eat that mouse on camera. Again, a lot of times when you deal with live animals, they don't always do what you want them to do. So sometimes you got everything set up perfectly, you want it to happen. They'll grab the mouse beautifully, and next thing you know, they drag the mouse off camera, off the shot, so you can't see it. Again, I don't have anybody, actually, I don't have a camera person that can be moving the camera around and everything else. So if they move it and I'm in a predicament where I can't move the camera myself for you, sometimes I lose the shot. So there are some things that you don't get to see, unfortunately. This guy here, he's just hanging on to that mouse. He's waiting for things to stop moving around, so he thinks that everything is safe for him to start eating. Like I said, when snakes are eating food, that's when they're most vulnerable. That's when something can come in and attack them and they have their mouth full and there's no way for them to defend themselves. They would have to regurgitate the food or throw it out of their mouth in order for them to be able to defend themselves, and they really don't want to lose a meal. He's starting now to leave the mouse go. You see, again, he has to find the head. So he leaves it go. He locates the head. Okay, once he gets that head in his mouth there. And that is so awesome to me, I think, you know, that a snake knows that ability, that he releases it, he finds the head like he's doing, and the way they just move up. What they do is they actually work their jaws from side to side. Once he gets the head into his mouth, he will take his right fang and he will sink it down into the snake, into the rodent, and he will then move his left fang, his other fang up to the other side a little farther, grab it, pull it back, and he'll go side to side. He'll actually chew his way up onto that rodent, which to me is very amazing. So right now, I'm actually going to leave the room, so there'll be silence while he finishes eating this for you guys. You can watch him eat it, and I will be back as soon as he's done to show you another one. Okay, now we're going to be tubing and force feeding my Gaboon Viper. Again, I've tried many different things with him, and ever since I got him, he was a little guy. He's refused pretty much to eat, so I've had to force feed him. If you look in the back here, we got a nice, beautiful, perfect shed. So he is growing, which is what we want, and he's shedding nicely. Like I said, so what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is get him into a tube, and he's usually pretty easy to do this. Simply put the tube over his head, like that, and get him to move forward. And then we just pick him up. So again, tubing him isn't very hard at all. He's very cooperative in being tubed. And now I got to shut the camera off and reposition it for you so you can watch me actually feed him. Okay, and hopefully I got this at the right angle. It's hard to tell sometimes. What we're going to do is we take our mouse here and try to grab him right by the head as much as possible, and I will try to coax him into opening up his mouth. Sometimes they'll do it willingly, other times it takes a little bit of coercing. You think anything by his mouth he would want to open it up and bite it, but he doesn't. Okay, there, I got him to open his mouth up. So now what I'm going to do is slowly try to push this head first into his throat, which I am. Okay, now the mouse is in there. What I'm going to do is maneuver back and forth, side to side, trying to get it down further, pushing each time on different angles. And one of the problems with this guy is he likes to S up. But right here you see now we got the mouse moving nice and slowly, so I continue just to push from the bottom part where I have it, nice and easy, and the mouse is slowly going all the way down. And what I'm going to do now is go with the longer hemostats. Get him to open his mouth again, get on that mouse and take the longer hemostat so I can actually push that mouse way down into him, and he's all done. Now a lot of people say that force feeding stresses a snake out. I really don't see that in this case. It's quick and easy. He's all fed up. He doesn't regurgitate. So I think force feeding with this guy is actually the only solution I have right now, being that he doesn't want to eat. So I'm going to put him back in his cage, and we'll got one more snake to feed for you. And the last snake we're going to be feeding for you today is my prairie rattlesnake. You can hear he's awake and aggravated right now. I'm going to take out his water bowl, give him some fresh water. And I always like to, well, if I can, and normally I can with no problem, I like to wipe out the water bowls, disinfect them a little bit, give them nice fresh water. You can see he's a little aggravated this morning, rattling his tail. Now we'll get him his mouse here. Got a new fresh batch of frozen mice. Well, normally what this guy will do is he'll usually strike it, and then I'll have to lay it down and he'll eat it. Let's see if he'll strike it for us. There he goes. Alright, then we'll just lay that down, and then he will eat it when we're not looking. He doesn't like us to watch him eat. So we're going to leave him be. I'm going to actually stop talking. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to eat my breakfast. And hopefully in that time he'll have eaten that for you. So I'm not going to be talking no more. I'm just going to be eating myself. And you can watch him as he eats that. Alright, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you watched the last part of the prairie rattlesnake eating, he actually yawned yawn that he uses to realign his jaw after he eats a large meal. We hope you liked what you saw today. If you did, click the like button. If you want to see more of what we do, hit the subscribe button. We always welcome it when you share us with your friends and family. And if you have a Facebook page and you want to put one of our videos on the Facebook page, we'd really appreciate that because we get a lot more views that way, and Snake Man doesn't do Facebook. So, as I always say, keep it real, and we'll see you on the next episode. Have a good day, guys.